This is Blunt Talk, your source for good inspirational news only. With your host, Gino Arcaro.
Be more or be less. It's your biggest decision today. In his book, Soul of a Lifter, Gino inspires you to make the right decision. Compete on the only stage that really matters, real life. Purchase Soul of a Lifter today at Amazon.com.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Blunt Talk Podcast. We're broadcasting today from the third floor of my gym, X Fitness, Welland, Ontario, Canada. X Fitness is committed to lift in mind, body, and soul, and to the celebration of good inspirational news only. Today's podcast is a blast, a shorter 5-minute version consisting of a motivational speech and top 1,000 workout song of the day. Here's real life lesson number 1,913 that I've taught football players for 40 years and college law enforcement students for 2 decades. Invest in your growth. 2 episodes ago, I introduced the first of 10 of the most important lessons I learned from the geniuses who labeled me as, quote, mentally retarded, end quote, their words, and slow, quote unquote, not my words, their words, when I was a kid. Here's part 4 of the continuing series. Number 4 lesson that I learned from all these geniuses, all these know-it-alls who have no problem labeling kids is this. Nothing is more important than your growth in mind, body, and soul. No investment is more important than repeatedly building stronger versions of yourself. Self-actualization is the difference between a fulfilled life and an unfulfilled life. Reaching your full potential is the difference between happiness and depression. Building your God-given gifts and talents is the difference between living a life on fire and living a dead life burning up in the fire of underachieving hell. Self-investment is governed by the 10-90 rule. Over 90% are too cheap to invest in self-growth in mind, body, and soul, and less than 10% are not. Over 90% invest primarily in pleasure and partying. Anything that does not involve work and growth in mind, body, and soul. Over 90% are too cheap to invest in self because they have been brainwashed their whole lives that investing in their mind, body, and soul growth doesn't matter, it isn't worth it, and it's just too painful. The same 90% will overspend on everything that does not require exertion to grow physically, intellectually, psychologically, and spiritually until it catches up with them. Then they live lives of regret and bitterness. Top 1,000 workout song of the day, Are You Ready by AC/DC. It's a masterpiece, ladies and gentlemen, released in 1990, year 21 of my 48-year workout streak. Over 90% of humans refuse to invest in physical growth until they become morbidly out of shape and weak. Then they will still try to cheap out and look for a deal. When the gym bar becomes too heavy, they will then return to the bar and pay full price to eat junk and get drunk. Are You Ready by AC/DC. $1.29 on iTunes, guaranteed to lift. Blunt Talk Podcast is on a mission to reach and lift all 7 billion humans on planet Earth. In just 3 years, Blunt Talk Podcast has reached over 34,000 listeners in 83 countries, including 4 record-breaking days in the month of April. Please continue sending your comments and questions to www.ginoarcaro.com and www.xfitness.ca. Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Much love to our worldwide audience. Blessings and all good things. Peace.
Please join us next time for more Blunt Talk motivation by Gino Arcaro and excerpts from his book, Soul of a Lifter, available on Amazon.com.